Yes, people. What's going on, man? Welcome back to another City Extra stream. I'm joined here with Adam from the United Stand. Adam, man, how you doing?
I'm all right, mate. Looking forward to tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, are you actually looking forward to it, though? Are you actually looking forward to it, mate? Do you ever look forward to these things? I don't.
Just say that for the sake of the show, don't you? It's just absolute nerve, and everything's heightened in it on the eve of the derby. It's just one of them, innit? You just don't sleep, and you just want the day to come, and then in a weird way, you want it over quicker, don't you? But yeah, it's just pure excitement, adrenaline, and everything rolled into one. And just you want the day here now. The build-up's a killer.
That's it. Look, guys, we've got Adam on for about 20, 25 minutes or so. I want to go through United's strengths and United's weaknesses from Adam's point of view. Obviously, he knows the club better than us. So us as City fans can sort of understand maybe where United can hurt City and where City can potentially get some goals and sort of exploit any United vulnerabilities. Before we do get into it, guys, make sure you drop a like on the stream, subscribe to the channel as well if you are new. Before we get into sort of United and where we can hurt you, maybe where you can sort of hurt us, why don't you give us like a little bit of a summary of United's season? Because it's been a bit of a weird one, man. Like, obviously, Ten Hag come in. There was a couple rough results at the start of the season, but even now, man, it hurts me to say, but you guys are doing all right.
Yeah, mate, it was a complete spin. It was start of the season. I remember going to Brentford, driving down to Brentford. It's 42 degrees heat. It was that stifling hot weekend.
I know you're
I didn't get a ticket in the United end, so I got a ticket behind the goal with the Brentford fans. Oh, mate, one of the worst experiences of my life. Just to get into the stadium to watch, thinking, well, this is it. We're going to turn it around. This is Ten Hag time. And then we got absolutely smashed 4-0. I was walking out thinking, this is the end. It's no better than it was before. And he made the balls he called, didn't he? The season turned around with Ronaldo for me. When Ten Hag stood up to Ronaldo and dropped him, dropped Maguire, everyone started to see like this manager could be different to the ones before. He's not listening to egos and price tags, captains, anything like that. Who's on more money at the club? He's just picking his own team. He sort of said, you know what, if you're going to throw me under the bus like that against Brentford, I'm just going to do what I want to do. And then from that moment, we beat Liverpool and we beat Arsenal. We had a pickups on the way. Obviously, you boys handed us a good hiding at the Etihad. We lost it at Villa, but I think since you guys beat us, we've lost one game in 18 in all competitions. And it goes to show that we've actually learned from the mistakes. We've learned from the negative results this season. Whereas last season, you would have thought, oh, God, here we go. Here comes another long run with no win and some crap away performances. But we actually looked at it, learned from it, and then we moved away and we started this long run that we're on now. Yeah, it sort of just all stemmed, mate, from Ten Hag having the balls to stand up to some of the egos and change the culture a bit.
Yeah, and I applaud him for that, man. I actually feel like he handled that Ronaldo situation, which wasn't easy. Because I know it's not easy because you had United fans like still backing Ronaldo. Do you know what I mean? Like that because of who he is. So it couldn't have been easy, man. But I actually think he done all right. What if he made a City this year? I mean, you know, from my point of view, it's been a bit of a weird season, inconsistent glimpses of absolute incredible football. Some we saw when we beat you 6-3. Then obviously we go and drop an absolute stinker. For me, one of the worst performances I've seen under Pep against Southampton. Like from you, from what you've seen, I don't know how much you've seen of City, but from what you have seen, what have you made of City this year?
Yeah, I mean, it's from the outside, it looks like an all right season a little bit. But obviously, you guys, your standards are so high. We're talking 90 plus points season after season after season. It's abnormal. But to see some of the body language, I would say, mate, was what hit me, what come out to me more than anything. It's like City always had a reaction. It was like bad result against Everton, go out and beat Chelsea twice. I thought, here we go, another City run incoming, and then bang, it was like that was like a shock to the system for everyone. I mean, I was fully expecting another trip to the Etihad, another two-legged semi-final affair. That's what I was thinking when that came. But I mean, to start the season, obviously it was the Haaland show. It literally was. It was like the Haaland Globetrotters, you could say. Pardon the pun. It was just dead easy. It looked like he was just going to walk over everyone, get the ball to Haaland. No one could touch him. And he's eased off. His goals have eased off a little bit. And I've spoke to my City mates and I've said, look, do you feel like... And I posed this question to them. I went, you've got this amazing striker, the best striker in the world, admittedly. He is the best that there is at what he does. He could score 50 goals this season and you don't win the league. Is he a success? It's a weird one because if you don't win anything, he ends up breaking all goal-scoring records. Has he actually been a success? Well, for him, he has, but is it not working elsewhere? I don't understand how it's not worked with him scoring all them goals.
You know what it is? Yeah, you know what it is, mate? In my opinion, I don't think it's to do with him necessarily. I think it's more of the system around and like some of the personnel that we've got. I think, you know, Mahrez has finally started doing good. You know what I mean? He's on some hot form right now. Grealish doesn't offer us a lot. Foden's been quiet this year, you know, and that's our left side. Then, of course, Cancelo's been in and out of form. He's out of form right now. You know what I mean? So I hear a lot of people talk about Haaland, but, you know, I think it's more sort of like a personal issue. But I think I don't know if I mentioned that yesterday on the stream on United Stand about you know, he can score all these goals, but ultimately, you know, if we don't win anything, then it's kind of pointless because that's what it's about, isn't it? The game's about trophies, man.
That's what we said about Kane, wasn't it? It's like Harry Kane's this brilliant goal scorer, but
not going to win anything.
He's not won anything. It's weird. It is weird.
Nah, for sure. Cheers for the donation. Alan says, come on, City fans, no more meltdowns. We've been through hell in Division 2 and back. We call in the manager and the players after a bad performance. Get behind the club and team. Well, we need to see the players perform tomorrow, man. The players need to put some passion in, man, because it certainly wasn't there against Southampton. And Dave says, yes, lads, respect and big up Adam. United are playing well at the moment, City not at their best, but at the end of the day, Manchester is blue. Go on, lad, give it in. Right, I want to, before we get on to like United strengths and potential weaknesses that City could exploit, what injury news have we got coming out of United? I've heard something about Dalot and Martial. I'm not 100% sure what's going on there.
Yeah, Dalot is definitely out. He was taken off against Charlton as a precautionary. We were told, it came out after the game in press conference that it was, but he isn't fit enough to play. So Dalot's out. I mean, Wan-Bissaka's probably coming in at right back. Martial, I didn't think his injury was that. I didn't even know he was injured. To be honest, I thought he was just being fully rested against Charlton, but the injury bug has caught him again, and that leaves us, if he isn't fit, he's having a late fitness test. If he isn't fit, we haven't got one number 9 in the team. So it does then look like we probably push Rashford in at number 9, which isn't where he's at his most dangerous, and sort of hampers us a little bit. And then for some reason, we weren't able to get the Weghorst deal over the line in time to register him, so he cannot play. And all of a sudden, the front line's looking a bit short.
So I mean, who could potentially start? Because if Martial doesn't make it, obviously if he has a late fitness test, he might make it. But if he doesn't, and Rashford does start up top, Sancho's injured, right?
Sancho's just not fit because he's been taken away for rediscovering himself. I find he's having mental problems, mental issues.
Oh shit, I even know that.
He's been in Holland training on his own for a month. So he's on a program at the moment just to deal with some inner devils that's going on. He's back training now, but I don't think he'll be anywhere near match fit. And Ten Hag won't play anyone who's not fit enough, which is why I feel like Martial won't make it. So in terms of what you said there, who he's going to play, it leaves us with young Garnacho, Alanga, Rashford, and Antony. Bruno can play further forwards, and that may play into what we were speaking about. Can he change the system, play Bruno further forward, and bring in another defensive, energy-minded midfielder into the free? That may even come into it. I don't know, but my guess would be, it pains me to say it, but I don't know if he'll risk Garnacho in such a big game. He may even play Alanga and put Rashford in the middle, or vice versa. If he plays Alanga down the middle, then whoever's playing at centre-back for you will have the easiest game that he's ever had, because Alanga is not a centre-forward. You will laugh at that. I don't mean that by any disrespect to him. He's better on the wing. I don't know why Ten Hag plays him in the middle or even tries him. But
he played off when he first broke through. He was playing off the right, wasn't he?
He played off the right. It's
all right,
where he got that goal at Atleti in the first leg in the Champions League last season. He's dangerous there because he's rapid. He's absolutely rapid. He's just his end products is lacking. I think the lack of game time's not helped him, but Garnacho is an unknown quantity. Maybe that would be a threat to City because obviously you don't know what's coming. Never set up against him before. He is a very tricky customer, and you know what? He has been one of our good performers when he's played, but it's the derby, mate, isn't it? It's like, will he risk him in that high pressure cooker situation with such a key role? It is. I think that's where we are weak now, even more so.
Interesting. I mean, let's get on to, like you say, that's where you could be weak. Where could City potentially find some joy? I mean, we've been struggling to create chances, man. So, I mean, where could City get some joy then?
That's weird because it's like I actually feel really confident with United's defence at the moment. Martinez and Varane are strong. The fullback, even Wan-Bissaka's in decent form, believe it or not. I mean, he had an absolute shocker last season when he played at the Etihad. I remember Phil Foden. I mean, no disrespect to Phil Foden. He looks about 8 stone piss wet through. He shoved him off the ball at one moment in that game like he just wasn't even there. It was a joke. And as a defender, you just can't be that weak. But he's pulled it together and he's actually all right. And on a one-on-one, I'd fancy him against any wing. I'd actually put Wan-Bissaka up on Grealish and fancy him to get the better of him personally because he is a good one-on-one defender.
He is a good one-on-one, yeah.
He's not good in the air. He's not good at reading the line as a defender, which isn't great. It does cost us. He's not good going forward. But as a one-on-one, it may play into our hands a bit and sort of stifle your attack. But it's strange because Foden being out of form is a weird one for me. It's the first time I've seen him dip like this because he would always be my threat. Obviously, like we discussed yesterday in terms of Kevin De Bruyne getting space, if you give him space, then I think that's where you beat us because he will just he will pick that ball, that killer ball, and he did it at your place. Lobbed it over Varane for Haaland. He can just put it on a sixpence. I think if we are lacking in numbers in midfield, that's where you win it, mate, for me, because that is when De Bruyne will get his time to do his damage and Haaland will be there to finish it. That's, like you said, it's creating. If Haaland gets a chance, he scores. But if you don't create, that's why he's having a bit of a dry spell. What is it, 6 in 8 or something? He's having a terrible time.
Yeah, it's mad. I mean, based on that then, do you think he will go Fred in midfield? Because, like, I just can't see a world in which he plays like a Casemiro, Eriksen and Bruno. I just think that would be almost, I mean, if it works, like smashed it, well done. But I mean, come on, Matt. Surely you have to look at these players and go, you have to close the space. You know what I mean? If Kevin De Bruyne gets space, he will find that pass. He just will. I mean, I remember I can't remember which goal it was in the first game. He had the ball just slightly off the right-hand side, maybe 25, 30 yards out, and he just put a ball over Maguire, over Martinez, I think it was, over Varane at the back post. It was perfect, and no one was near him. You can't give him that space. For me, I would be incredibly surprised if Fred and Casemiro are not in that side tomorrow, just to limit the space.
Do you know what, mate? It's funny you say that because he's one of these types of managers. He's stubborn. He learned under Pep when he was at Bayern Munich. He was his understudy for Pep Guardiola. He's learned a lot, and you know what Pep's like. When he's got a system in his head, it doesn't matter who goes against him or what anyone else says. It's like they will worry about us before I worry about them. And do you know the only times that I've seen Pep fail is when he's tried to do too much and not believe in what his original philosophy is, like the final against Chelsea and a few other games where he's just changed it up to a point where it's like it's probably a bit too much. But Ten Hag is stubborn. I mean, we were all calling for him to go pragmatic against Liverpool, and he didn't. And we just went at Liverpool and just absolutely we put a shift in. Don't get me wrong. We had to run ourselves into the ground, and we were blowing out of our asses on 70 minutes, and we just held on in the end. But yeah, it was the start of the season. We probably weren't fully match fit then, but I look at it and I think, right, in my head, I'm thinking he's had the big players all rested for the week, and he's just going to go with the 4-3-3, mate. That's what I'm thinking.
He's just going to go for it.
Games.
Fucking hell. Well, I'll tell you what, then it's going to be an interesting game if he does that, because for me, I said this yesterday. I like it when teams come at City because, one, it makes for a more entertaining game rather than just playing a team that sits on the edge of the penalty area. But two, it gives us space to work. You know what I mean? Yep. Whereas usually we're on the edge of the penalty area, we're looking for them, crisp through balls that have to be 100% accurate. If they're not, it gets intercepted or something. So I think it's going to be really interesting. But I would be. Maybe shock's not the right word because, like you say, he has worked under Pep and these managers have a thing for just doing whatever they want to do.
I mean, one thing I would say, and don't be surprised. I know we're all saying, and I want Martinez in the team. I would not be surprised if Shaw played at centre-back and he put Malacia
I've heard this, I've seen a few people on Twitter saying Shaw at centre-back.
Yeah, what he's done, he's put Malacia next to him on the left. Shaw's energy and his strength, because he's a strong little sod. But Malacia's energy up and down the line, he just gets all over the pitch. He does not stop running. That could be the engine. That could be that extra bit, because he does tuck into midfield as well. It's one of them, honestly, mate. It's that defence. The defence is solid if he plays Shaw at left back for me. I think defensively, Malacia isn't as good. It just depends if he wants to hold City off or try and stay in the game a bit. I honestly could not tell you where he's going with it. He's that difficult, but he is that stubborn. He will go with a 4-3-3 as well.
Interesting. I mean, we know Rashford's in some good form right now. Is that? I don't say it's your only attacking threat, but is that sort of what you're pinning your hopes on tomorrow, Rashford?
No, do you know what, mate? People will laugh at me, but I think there's a game for Bruno tomorrow. There is. This is like the first proper break he's had. He's had about 9 days off now because he was suspended in the week. So he plays every single game. But one thing about Bruno, he gets a lot of stick, but he's not afraid about getting the stick. He'll just keep doing what he does, and he's persistent. And eventually he'll get 2 assists out of nothing. That's what he does. It's he's got all these assists, but think about the wasted balls. I said, to be honest, mate, I'm not worried about the wasted balls. If he keeps going and we get the win, then that's what he's there for. He's a risk-reward player. I just feel like there's a game in there for Bruno tomorrow, especially he's coming, he's taking it on board what Ten Hag's told him. You can see it's changed his game a little bit. He's been a bit more careful with the ball, but he's the one that will open up. He's the one that will play that ball. And if Rashford is in the middle, Bruno has to be behind him, because I don't think there's anyone else. Maybe Eriksen could find that assist for us, but I think Bruno's the one. Bruno's energy and Bruno's having that week off, I think that is a threat for us as well. I'd say Bruno and Rashford probably more than anyone, mate, tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see why people would laugh at Bruno. I mean, he winds me up. I mean, I don't particularly like the guy because he's always fucking moaning, but he's a quality player. And he can get goals and assists as well, so he can definitely hurt us.
Something about them Portuguese, isn't there? They just got.
They have a bit of bite about him. They have a bit of bite about him. You know, I don't know why, but yeah, you know, they've got a good team. You know, and it's they underperformed, don't they? In the World Cup and that. I mean, pretty much everyone did. Guys, any questions for Adam regarding the game tomorrow or anything else random, then just whack it in the chat. We'll be wrapping up in a few moments' time. So Alan says, with a super chat, God help you blokes if both clubs got relegated. I was there when both teams got relegated. Luton, Stoke and United going down. I was there. Support the club. City fans, no matter what. City side, that's it. Sir Alan, enjoy the game tomorrow, pal. Question here for you. Come on, Adam, mate.
You know we had this.
Come on,
I know you're going. I'm going with Casemiro all day, mate.
Why? Explain why.
Because he's the one that's turned this average team that finished 6th in the league to where we are now. It's literally him. It's like Ten Hag said today. His words were today when he was asked about Casemiro in his presser. He said he is the cement in between the bricks. That's basically what he is. He holds himself together. His passing is unreal. It really is. And he's got that skullduggery, mate. He's got dark arts in him. And that's what we've missed for a long, long time. But if you're on the pitch, if you're pitch side and you watch him play, he's that player. When you pitch side and you can see you see different things that you don't see on TV. Mm-hmm. He's the one that's literally telling everyone what to do. He's telling everyone when to calm down, when to press, when to go a bit harder. You can see the experience that he's got from when he was at Madrid and obviously in Brazil. And he makes everyone else better. That's what Casemiro is for me. He's changed his team around completely.
He's a mega signing. I remember you signed him, and I was like, yeah. I mean, for me, like genuinely, I think Rodri's better than Casemiro. But I do think that Casemiro is the second best in the world. I think they're the two best in the world, and we've got them both in our city.
I'd go with that. I'd go with that.
You know, and yes, you know, United fans are likely biased towards Casemiro, and likewise City with Rodri, but. You know, it was a great signing, and that was a position that United had neglected for so long, so long that it was hilarious, man. Hilarious to City fans watching McFred as a call. Do you know what I mean? Fred, I like Fred, but he's not a lone six. You know what I mean? He needs someone who can play that position properly, and then he just does the mopping up and maybe gets forward and helps out a little bit. McTominay, in my opinion, is arse. You know what I mean? So it's bizarre that it's taken you this long to get someone. Fair enough, though, when you did go and get him, you went and got someone who's not half bad. Interesting question this from Johnny. Will Kane join United this summer?
I think United will go all in for Kane in the summer, yeah. I think that's the noises around Manchester United. I just think 1 year left in his contract. If Spurs don't get Champions League, I think Kane's off, and I think United will be all over it. I do. Yeah,
I actually agree with that. I think that Kane... You know, he tried to come to City last year, didn't he? And it didn't go through for whatever reason. You know, Levy seemingly didn't want to sell him, but he's in a weird position, man. Because he's just fucked his career, in my opinion. He shouldn't have been signing that contract. When he signed that contract, his brother didn't put in a proper clause. Because if you think about it, if his brother put in a proper clause, he would have been at City. He would have had a Premier League last year. So that's pretty mad.
Well, City proved it, didn't they? I mean, they went and bought Grealish for 100 million. You put the right clause on the right man, then the club will go and buy it. It's just what Levy. I mean, we've been on the other end of Levy plenty of times from United with players that we've bought. I mean, remember Berbatov and what he took us through to try and get him over the line. He just takes you to the cleaners, and I do believe that, like what you said, then I think Kane's chance at winning major trophies was that 2 years ago. I think he would have been decorated now, to be honest, but. I mean, I'd take him at 30. I mean, his injury record hasn't been great, but it's been good the last year. Now he's got his new, I think he said he's got a new doctor or this guru or whoever it is. I don't know what these players do these days or how much they spend on them to try and keep themselves fit or playing. But he's not been injured for over a year, so I'll take that as a positive. But yeah, I mean, this season it's only because of Haaland. Kane's looked. Well, he's not average, is he? But it's only because of Haaland that he's not looked as good as he really is. But he's having a great. 15 in the league. I mean, it's still a decent record. I mean, it's about 17 or 18 games. He's got 15 goals in that Spurs team. Can you imagine what he would have done? I actually think Kane would have done better than Haaland if he was at City, personally, because I think Kane
I don't think he would have scored as many goals as Haaland, because I think he would have dropped deeper. But I think the team this season might have been a little bit better suited.
I could see that. I could see where you're coming with that.
To Kane, because Haaland just stands in the penalty area and just fucking finishes anything that comes near him. Whereas you see Kane always drops deep, doesn't he, for Spurs? And
yeah.
Here's a funny question, and I'm going to answer this question as well. James Perry says, "What are you going to do to cheer yourself up when United lose? What do you do on Derby Day when United lose?"
Oh, mate, well, there's alcohol involved, isn't there? Obviously, there has to be, and the fact that we've got all day to deal with it because it's the early kickoff, and then all weekend to deal with it. It's sort of you hibernate or you surround yourself with people that you know are not going to wind you up. Usually, people that don't absolutely nothing about football, to be honest. But yeah, it's a stiff drink and a bit of a sulk session, mate. To be honest.
There you go. Con Robbo with a super chat says 3-1 tomorrow. Haaland, Gundo, Alvarez off the bench late. That's from Con Robbo. Let's see if there's anything else before we wrap it up. Amar is going in at your pal. He says, same Casemiro, we ran ragged in the UCL. Bro, we got knocked out. Bro. Come on,
I know. You can't threw that one away, mate, there.
Come on, Amar, man. I don't think there's any other questions. Let me just have a quick glance. Yeah, no, I think that's pretty much it for any questions. Right now, how do you think the game's going to go tomorrow then? You confident of a win? You think you're going to get it done? You're on some good form, but, you know, City have got a decent record. You know what I mean? Haaland's firing. Can we bounce back? What are you saying?
I still think United can get the win at home. We got best defensive record at home. I think if it was a time for us to beat City, it would be tomorrow. Personally, we've set up best. I know we've got them few injuries, but I think them injuries may make that game, that tight game that you mentioned, where the system may change a little bit. Possibly, it's hard to judge, but I'm going for 1-0 United. I just feel like it's just going to be a nervous game. Personally, it's going to be tight. So I think 1 in it. I don't think it's going to be a whitewash or anyone running away with it from both sides. I think whoever wins, it will be by the odd goal.
Yeah. I'm going for a City win, but again, maybe like 1-0, 2-0, maybe 2-1. I don't know. Somewhat close. The only way that there'll be goals tomorrow is if City get an early goal and then we can kick on. But the way we've been playing recently and the lack of chances, that's unlikely. Listen, mate, I appreciate you coming on, pal, and taking this, especially on a Friday night, mate. I'm sure you've got plans to go out tonight, have a few scoops before the game.
Be ready for tomorrow. I'll be ready for tomorrow.
Listen, guys, hope you enjoyed that. That's Adam from the United Star. Make sure you drop a like on the stream and subscribe to the channel. Don't go anywhere, man. The stream's going to automatically redirect you to the main preview. Me and Jordan are going to do that now. Other than that, Adam, thanks a lot for coming on, bud. And good luck for tomorrow, or not.
Yeah, in a bit.